So you're moving to or living in Vancouver, Washington, and you want to rent first before you try and buy a home. This video is for you. Hey, welcome back to Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm thankful you're here today because I'm finally making a guide about renting first in Vancouver area, which has been long overdue and much requested. We serve a lot of clients here who want to rent first before they buy a home. Some of them rent for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Some of them rent for a year and a half. But after that, usually a lot of them want to transition into buying. And so renting is seen as sort of a short-term intermediary for them. If you're unsure if you should rent first or try to buy immediately if you're moving here, moving from out of the area, please feel free to reach out to us. Send us an email at hannah@dubynerealtygroup.com and we are happy to give our honest feedback. So I have 10 big tips I want to share with you today about how to rent first in Vancouver, Washington. The first thing you need to know is that single family home rentals here go really quick. The majority of the rentals here are still apartments, townhouses. There are some condos out there that are rentals as well, but a lot of apartments and townhomes. And so if you're looking for that single family home where you have your own 4 walls in your own yard, just know you're really going to have to be on the ball with looking online. Secondly, you should know that there are always going to be some sort of apartments available. For single family homes, you're going to see them go in kind of like a 1 month rolling basis. So at the very end and beginning of the month, you're going to see those rentals come up for sale or for rent as people give their notice to their manager and their leasing company. But with the apartments, there's always going to be apartments available. There are tons of apartment complexes here, and so it's usually a little bit easier to get into an apartment. Now, what you should know about apartments is a lot of times they're going to have more fees involved with them, and they can be a little bit more shady sometimes. The third thing you should know about the rental process is that realtors here have no formal way to be involved. In other parts of the country, realtors can list leases, but here we do not do that. I don't know, we just don't. Rentals and purchases or sales are completely separate. So realtors here help people buy and sell a home, and property managers are usually the ones that will help you lease a home or rent a home. Now, if you do want representation for renting or leasing a home, it's really hard to find. Really what you're going to do is you're going to work directly with the person who is listing the home, whether it be the landlord or the property manager. So you need to know what you're doing. Even though we have no formal way of helping you, we hope that this video is a great resource. And I also have a very comprehensive long email I can send you about our rental tips. So please just send us an email at hannah@dubynerealtygroup.com and we will send you that email with all of our best rental tips. The fourth thing you should know is that renting right now, as I'm making this video, is cheaper than buying a home. I'm making this video in 2024 when interest rates are still pretty high. So, your rent is going to be cheaper, and rent has come down just a smidge over the last year. But long term, you should know that buying a home is always going to outpace renting for affordability. When you're looking for a rental, you should look directly on property management sites, not on syndicate sites like Zillow and whatever else, apartments.com that list rentals. The reason is because those syndicate sites are often slower than the property management sites. And so the way the property managements here work is when the house becomes available, when the rental unit becomes available, the first place they put it is their site. And then from there, they'll put it out on rent.com or rent.com and apartments.com will pick it up from their algorithm, but it might be a couple days too late. And so you really want to go on those property management sites to look at those rentals before other people do. We have a list of the biggest 10 to 15-ish property management companies in the Vancouver area. So if you want that list, please feel free to email us and we will send it your way. The sixth thing to know is that rentals here are almost always first come, first serve. So if you apply for a rental, and you meet the criteria, you meet the credit requirements, you meet the income requirements, whatever the other requirements are, if you apply first, you should be getting the rental. It is not a bidding process like it is with buying a home here, where whoever puts the most money down gets it. It's just whoever comes in first and meets all the criteria, they're gonna get it. The seventh thing I want you to know and really pay attention to is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. This is a high demand area for housing, both rentals and homes for sale. So there are people out there who are taking advantage of that, and I hate to see that. If you see something listed on Craigslist, just stop yourself. Just don't go on Craigslist. Don't go on sketchy places on the internet. If it looks sketchy, if it's way below where it should be market price, then it is a scam. So just stop yourself and continue on with other rental options. A lot of the rental scams we see are ones where they'll put up rental for sale and actually the house is for sale, and then they try and get a deposit out of you and they try and scam your deposit. So always just be vigilant with that. The 8th thing I want you to know about renting a home here in Vancouver area is that short-term rentals are hard to find. Most of our homes get leased on 12-month leases for the most part. There are ones out there that will do month-to-month for sure, but they're gonna be a lot harder to find. And when you do find them, just know they're going to be more expensive. Everyone's delusion when they're looking for a short-term rental is that it's going to be the same rate as a 12-month rental. So if the house leases for $3,000 a month, then they want to get it for $3,000 a month with no locked-in contract month to month, it's just not going to happen. It might be $3,300 a month, $3,400 a month. It's going to be more expensive. You're going to be more likely to find short-term rentals through apartments or townhomes. I have a couple here that I really like to refer people to, so that would be Slate Ridge and 9 Bark. They have some good options. 9 Bark is newer. Slate Ridge is in Vancouver. It's a little bit more of a convenient spot. You can also look on VRBO or Airbnb, but just keep in mind those are furnished, and so they're going to be significantly more expensive. And finding one that's available and doesn't already have bookings out in the future, you know, a couple days here, a weekend there, is pretty dang hard to do. So that's why if you're looking for a short-term rental, I would consider looking at apartments and townhomes. The 9th thing you should know is that you always need to read your lease and make sure you know what that break clause says. If you want to get out of your lease for some reason, or you think you might need to get out of your lease in the future, you want to make sure you know what that entails. Now, a lot of our buyer clients, they break a lease before it's over to buy a home. And that just makes sense a lot of times if you do the math. And it's very hard to time the end of a lease with a purchase. It just is, because if you say you're going to end your lease and then you don't end up finding something to buy, then you don't have a place to stay anymore. So that's why it can be good to be a little bit more conservative with your timelines and just break it off early. Also, if the right house comes up or you bring the right opportunity to our client, you don't really want to miss out on that for a couple $1,000s. Advising our clients to break their lease or to not break their lease, if it's worth it or if it's not, is one of the services that we provide to them when they work with us as buyers. My 10th tip for you when you are renting first and planning to buy down the road is to form a relationship with a great local realtor. Now, not all realtors are created equal, and you should interview realtors, ask what services they provide, ask what they charge for their services, but I promise you a great realtor is worth their weight in gold. We know every subdivision here in East Vancouver and Camas, and we know Clark County extremely well. It's our area of service. We pride ourselves on having connections for our clients and knowing about all the little tiny details that make a big difference in your experience, the cost of the home, your savings, all of that good stuff. It's never too early to reach out to a realtor, whether you're listing or buying your home. So, always go create that relationship with them and get to know them. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're moving to the Vancouver, Clark County area and you're renting first, I hope this video helped you. And of course, send us an email at hannah@dubynerealtygroup.com for those tips. Don't forget to sign up for our Weekend Happenings with Hannah newsletter. We send it out every single week. We send out Deal of the Week too. It's amazing. We can't wait to see you guys again soon, and thanks for watching.